Death is an interesting concept, isn't it? Death is something that holds a lot of weight to it, does it not? Death is one of those things where the very idea of it stems and forms in itself a paradox. Death can be something that represents the dismemberment, the disembowelment, the pure, chaotic, unfiltered destruction of one's being. It doesn't matter if you're an alien, a human, a hybrid, or anything in between. Death is something that represents the end, the final chapter in one's life, in one's journey, in one's story. But death's also a double-edged sword, as it brings new hope, new life. It grows, it nurtures, it blossoms. It helps to bring evolution, to evolve people into their higher states of being, into their higher evolutions, into forms and parts of themselves that they have once maybe even barely dabbled in before, now has fully consumed them. Death is something that both completely dismembers and disembowels, but also detaches, grows, loves, and cares for. And that's the thing about death. Just like this timer, right? We only have a very finite amount of time, before everything comes to a complete end. But there's a beauty in that, isn't there? Well, somehow, in this timeline, we've liquefied it. We've carbonated it. We've brewed it. And we've even given it a little bit of a fruity splash of flavor. I am, of course, talking about liquid death. Now, liquid death is something that's been a very, very interesting history for me, dating all the way back to my original timeline. Back when I lived in a different state. I got my friends hooked on it. I started drinking it when it first came out. And on top of that, back then there was only one product, just the water. But since then it's evolved. It's now gotten multiple concerts that they've done and live shows that they've done, including one of my personal favorites during the dark times, the H2O concert. They've evolved into merchandising, pins, brands, all sorts of things. And you can even get t-shirts, hats, mini fridges, full-on caskets, lots of weird stuff. And they've even divulged into experimentation in a lot of their commercials, ads, and everything in general. So, we're here today to honor that by simply trying all 10 different liquid death flavors. That's right, all 10. We're going to be covering the waters, the teas, the recently announced Walmart exclusive flavor, and even the sparkling juices. So, let's not waste your time, because we only have a finite amount of time. This is the Liquid Death Ultimate Taste Test video, where we try every single Liquid Death flavor. And let's begin with a classic, shall we? We obviously have to drink out of a very fancy glass, since we're being fancy today. we start off with the OG, the classic, the, old reliable, truthful, liquid death, mountain water. Pretty simple concept. Drinking water from the Alps. That's all it is. It's straight up just purified, delicious, crisp drinking water from the mountain Alps. And that's it. So, and look, there may have been some dismemberment and disembowelment involved. I mean, look, even the can says that there was a group of teenagers that were going off drinking weekend, and they became hunted by a straight-up aluminum can of mountain water that murdered them and took their souls. So we honor those who are not here with us today with some good old-fashioned mountain water from the Alps. Delicious. Crisp, refreshing, tasty, and just absolutely murders your thirst. Right? True and trideful. A delicious, thought-provoking, murderous rampage. Right? But I could end the video right there and just tell you to, go buy Liquid Death. Instead, we gotta go one further. Few years into their product line, they came up with sparkling water. Same concept, but now just a little bit more bubbly, if you will. So, something a little more carbonated. For those who want a little more fizz in their water. Something to really not only murder their thirst, but completely get atomic bomb and nuke their digestive system with any food whatsoever. Oh, you have an upset stomach? You ate too many tacos? Too many burritos? That Chinese food really not getting you? Crack open one of these. Trust me. It gets the job done. So, the next one's the sparkling water. Short, sweet, and to the point. Refreshing. Bubbly, light, crisp. And I can still hear the screams of all those teenagers being hung by trees and disemboweled and their insides being turned into a fine spaghetti. Now, I'm not an uncultured swine. They probably use some good marinara with that. Maybe cook a little Parmesan with it, some good sauce. Maybe get some garlic bread. Who knows? Look, I'm not thinking cannibalism unless you are. But now, we move on from murdering in the woods to murdering in the deep dark forest. And sometimes you need a weapon. A weapon that's really gonna just cut through that bone marrow, Something that you can't ask the guy at Lowe's or Home Depot about, but you know a guy, usually his name's probably Teddy or Philip or something, and he knows a guy. He calls his tried and true the mango chainsaw. Now, this was one of the very first flavored waters that they did. The Ruthless Tall Boy is all of the sparkling water that they've created, but now with a little bit of agave nectar and electrolytes and a little bit of sweetener. And that's it. And that's it. And then just threw some mangoes in there. And yeah, I can still hear the chainsaw. So Anyway, blood-curdling screams await. Now we tried the mango chainsaw. Ah, delicious. Now, I'm a little biased. When the fruit-flavored sparkling waters first came out, this was one of the first ones that I tried. And one of the ones that I could easily get years and years ago. And, you know, I would drink these like they're no tomorrow. My first wouldn't be, murdered. It would be annihilated. It would be straight up just, hung out to dry. And this was a good way to do that. It murdered my thirst, but it also murdered everything else that I was dealing with at the time. Including an ex. That's a story for another day. And you know what? Some people like to keep trophies in their rooms. Some people like to keep little remembrances of their pasts. Something to kind of remember the stories. Usually photos, videos, pins, posters, stuff like that. Maybe even a CD. Or, if you're a complete nut job, you carry around a severed lime. Get it? Because it's severed head, severed lime. Still, severed lime. Now, this is a flavor that I myself have not tried before. I did not know that this one existed up until the shooting of this video. But we're gonna try it out. So, and apparently this one came out around the same time as Mango Chainsaw. So, we're gonna give it a little taste and see how it is. Imagine, if you will, a 7-Up or a Sprite. You got it? You got the picture in your head? Cool. Now imagine a man with a machete coming in to take over the plant, completely burn everyone alive, and throw them into a ditch. And now, you've got some extreme lime. That is some really powerful lime taste. It's delicious, it's fresh, it's just really refreshing. I taste more of the actual lime and the sparkling water with an even balance. And that's just good. That's just a good flavor, overall. I like this one. That'd be good on a hot summer day, when the sun is going to inevitably crash down on the Earth, causing the inevitable heat death of the universe. But, we've got actually not that much time left, let's be honest, so I better continue filming this quickly. So the next one that we have is, we've got 2 more of these sparkling flavored ones. Now, there's a story going around that there are some people who have committed these atrocities, who have committed crimes and, murders against humanity and alien kind and hybrid kind, who have gone absolutely mad, who have warped their sense of reality and become twisted. These people are simply known as convicted melons. They're crazy. They're nuts. They have no sense of grip on reality, and everything is completely distorted. I think I knew a guy like this once. Maybe in a different universe? Who knows? Yep, I can still hear the ramblings. Something about, the government and something about conspiracy theories and, evidence being hidden and whatever. Also, you'll notice that at the time of this recording, they started putting these in the tall boy cans. So now you get a little more bang for your buck. Anyhow, let us drink the sweat and tears of a convicted melon. That one's interesting. Because I was almost half expecting a watermelon flavor, but that's actually just a straight, melon, almost cantaloupe flavor. It's still only slightly sweet, but very refreshing. Very tasty. It's very light, and more of the volume of the flavor comes out compared to the lime one or the mango one. Now, I love the mango one, to death. Don't get me wrong. But, you know what? This would be good all year round. Especially at a picnic when you just want to sit there, eat a tuna fish sandwich, add a little hot sauce and cheese, and kind of disassociate. And think about that one family member that gets on your nerves, and how you wish a Zamboni would just come out of nowhere and just grind her insides to a pulp. Sounds like a good time. Those are the days. But we have one more of those things to try. We have one more of the sparkling flavored ones. Now, look, I'm no expert, but if TV shows and crime dramas and murder movies and horror movies and possession movies have taught us anything in this timeline, is that when dealing with the dead, you really need to make sure to always double tap, make sure they're dead, make sure you hide or burn the evidence, and, find a good space and plot of ground to bury it alive. So that if they're somehow still alive, what are they gonna do? Dig themselves back out? Good luck, unless they're a zombie. Then we got another problem on our hands. Anyhow, the bury it alive flavor. There is a lot of mixed feelings on that one. It's got a blueberry, it's got a raspberry, it's got kind of a cherry, it's got a cranberry, it's got a lot of different things in it. And honestly, I like it, but yeah. Okay, here we go. It has passion fruit, raspberry, blackberry, hiccupus, and black cherry. So it's got some of the best choices for fruit flavor. Also bonus points because I love passion fruit. And, maybe death can be passionate. That's the thing about death. You can have a love-hate relationship with it, but not everything's all about, burying bodies and murder and dismemberment. Death is also about growth, about peace, about inner self-worth, about evolution. And, that's kind of the thing. If there's one thing I know about dealing with my past and dealing with different timelines, It's that sometimes you need to just let things rest in peace. Now, this is where it gets interesting because they have not one, not two, but 4 different tea flavors. That's right, Liquid Death has now gotten into the tea market. So, you want to rebalance and realign your chakras, you want to do some meditation and yoga, you want to cleanse? Oh, we're not going to cleanse you. We're going to murder. Wait, actually, I can drop an F-bomb. This is PG-13 rules. Yeah, no. You can fucking drop a straight up just euphoric moment by resting in peach. So we're going to try it. Now, this one is a peach pear apricot flavor. I'm curious about that. Also, what makes the teas more interesting is that it still uses the avogade, or the, the little bit of agave sweetener, but it has B vitamins as well, too. And, well, it has a little bit of caffeine in it, because, well, obviously you're drinking tea, so, but not a lot of caffeine, just a small amount. So, still, point is, it's going to be delicious. So, it's got plenty of vitamin B6, B12, and a few others. So, let's get into it. Oh. And to some of my past lives and some of my past experiences with people, I'm sorry that some of these planets and worlds that I've visited are no longer around, but may you rest in peace. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, the peach flavor comes out right on top for a very brief moment, and then you taste the pear and apricot midway through. The peach just comes in and, well, not to get too sensual in this video, but you ever just sort of really bit on a good peach? Or have you ever, like, let the juices of a really juicy peach just kind of, slowly linger out? You kind of dig in there a little bit. You maybe use a finger or two. Now some peaches prefer you use one finger. Some people, that with peaches, they prefer use 2 fingers. And some, look, if you get really creative, you can use the whole hand or fist. But I'm more of a take it slow, enjoy the moment type of guy. Start with 1 finger, go with 2, really get that flavor. Let it literally drip down your chin and let the juices flow. But that's enough innuendo for one day. Now, there was a man, and he was a very interesting man, and he unfortunately just exploded one day. Don't know how it happened. He was going for a walk and went to go check the mail, and he exploded. Now, he did have a bit of a disability, though. See, his name was Palmer. First name, well, Arnold. But we call him Armless Palmer for short. And this one's in dedication to you. Now, this one is a little bit of a different flavor. This one is just straight up a black tea and lemon juice. That's it. Black tea, lemon juice. Nothing more, nothing less. Also, for those wondering about the caffeine intake, I'll show you in this one too, but there's at least 30 milligrams of caffeine per can. So, if you're worried about caffeine overdose, 30 milligrams is nothing. So, anyhow, Armless Palmer. I hope you're doing well up there in the Cosmos, Armless Palmer. May you take out some bad guys in the future by exploding all over them, too. You know, I think Palmer was a Southern guy, because that really just reminds me of, like, a good Southern country, sort of like, you know, like Southern draw, you know, like barbecue sort of tea. This is the type of tea you would bring to, like, like a specific outdoor barbecue. You would bring this thing and drink it, and you would put it in a pitcher, and you could see the millions and millions of people and cousins and guests and probably church folk, let's be honest, just gorging their disgusting, you know, grotesque faces and making noises while they slather themselves in short ribs and hamburger meat and, you know, pulled pork, and, you know, they make noise. You know the exact one I'm talking about. You know the people I'm talking about. The ones that don't go to a party with manners. Which is why sometimes when you attend these parties, they don't end well. In fact, some of them end in a complete slaughter. Yes, ironic, because I use barbecue as a metaphor for, you know, humans and aliens and hybrids alike eating, you know, the dead carcasses and, you know, the cooked flesh of animals and byproduct and pork and all that. But what happens when the tables are turned? It becomes a slaughterberry. And this one's different, because this one's a special one. See, Liquid Death started doing this thing now, where some flavors are now exclusive to retailers. That's right. So the only way you can get this flavor is by going to the cursed land, the corporation that is simply known as Walmart. That's right. You can only get this flavor at Walmart. It is a Walmart exclusive. But let's see what Wally World can come up with. Now, the flavor for this is raspberry, blueberry, and blackberry. So this ought to be actually good. Oh yeah, no, I can still hear the screams as well too, by the way. A lot of these cans are screaming, by the way. It's a very light note. It is a very light, very faint, very almost tangy kind of note. It's not bad. I would say out of the tea flavors, I would have to say the Rest in Peach is my favorite, with the Armless Palmer surprisingly being number 2. But Slaughterberry, it's okay. It's not bad, but I don't think I'll be attending that barbecue ceremony anytime soon. Or that backyard party for that matter. And speaking of attending, look, at the end of the day, death comes for us all. One way or another. We're not going to make it. We're all gonna die. I mean, that's just the fact of life. Look, I don't care what YouTube or TikTok or all these social medias say otherwise. We're gonna die. That's just facts of life. But death is not something that has to be necessarily frowned upon. But it doesn't have to always be celebrated either. It can just exist. And we can just be okay with it. So, when the day finally comes, one of these days, where I'm old and gray, probably in my 80s or 90s, and, you know, I've completely made a mess of the bed, and, you know, my memory goes to complete obscurity, and my voice gets completely shot, I'll be happy to know that when the Grim Reaper, or the Grim Leafer comes, I'll know that I'll have peace. And I'm okay with that. The Grim Leafer, which consists of, ironic enough, just a black tea. That's all it is. It's just a very simple black tea. Huh. Which is funny because the Armless Palmer has black tea and lemon juice and a little more flavor to it. So this is just Palmer without the lemon. Fair enough. Sometimes that's all you need. Well, death, just like the end of this video coming up, all good things come to an end. You know, how ironic. Because with that flavor, it's very neutral. It doesn't wow you. It doesn't overpower anything. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not too exotic. It's not too grand. It's just kind of neutral. And really, that's how we should see death. It doesn't matter if you're 5 years old, 18 years old, 40 years old, 80 years old, or if you live forever. Really doesn't matter if you're a human, an animal, a fauna, a flora, an alien, a hybrid, or if you're something else in between. At the end of the day, death is a very neutral thing. It is a constant. And there's some peace and solitude into that. So, at the end of the day, although time is completely irrelevant, the time that we spend with others is the time that's most important. I'm Crash. And unfortunately, my time is up. Thank you so much for watching this ultimate Liquid Death taste test video. I love Liquid Death. I have a lot of fond memories with the brand. From posters and pins, to live stream concerts, just so much more. Liquid Death is great. And while this isn't a big ode to video, I have a few more Liquid Death ideas for content in the future. And hey, to the fine folks at Liquid Death, look, you want a guy? I'm your guy. Just saying. Plus, between you and me, a little secret. We'll nod to the audience. As someone who's canonically died before and has first-hand experience with death itself, don't you think maybe I'd be a good representation of that? Till next time, folks. Remember, don't be afraid of death. Be afraid of the person causing your death. Because you never know what's going to happen around the corner.